live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, aka the Advantage Coach.
And this is episode 143 of the Field to the Real podcast.
Yes.
Well, I could have saved this for the end of the show, but
You can go ahead.
this
Listen, I'm trying not. It's bittersweet. So.
This will be the last time that you see me until episode 150. I will be gone for 6 weeks, but as you guys can see, the last couple of weeks, Stephanie has been taking the reins of this thing, so she'll be.
Y'all pray for me.
Yeah, no, you can be all right. I look after going through and editing and seeing all this stuff. I'm like, she got this.
Sure.
But let's you know what? Let's dive into who's really right. Because I think that I'm anxious to talk about this, and I'm anxious to talk about my disdain about why we have this matchup in the first place.
I'm happy because we do who's really right all the time, but rarely do we have them where it's going to be almost an immediate result.
Right.
This is great. So if you all are listening and you want to put your opinion in, you got to do it before Monday night. Because so our who's really right is Georgia v. Alabama rematch. Who wins?
All right, Steph. Ladies first.
Okay. I'm gonna let you have that this time, since this is the last time you get to say it for a while. I don't know who would even think I wasn't going to say Georgia, but I'm just going to say I feel like, and it's not because I'm from Georgia, I'm a UGA fan, alum, none of that. It is really, it's not that. I feel like I am having optimism, I'm going to say that Georgia is sick of being in this space of like Alabama owning them. The way that they played last week in their bowl game, in their playoff game. Was angry. With a chip on their shoulder. And what it reminds me of is I remember earlier in the season, because it was a while at the beginning of the season, like nobody was scoring touchdowns on them, like in the first quarter, half, something like that. And when it happened for the first time, I believe they were playing Auburn, and I could just see the smoke coming out of their ears for allowing that to happen. And the way that they came back after that and shut them down, like, no, we need to let y'all know who we are. And so I'm feeling like, because they went into that SEC championship, in my opinion, with almost a cockiness at how they had played, and they felt like, well, they've lost the game. We haven't. Our defense has been shut down all season. They're not that, prolific as they have been in the past. Like, I think they had talked themselves into believing that they were in a better space and that they would it wouldn't be a big deal and they'd be able to win. And I feel like now you're the underdog coming into this game. And how dare we be the underdog when, if we're real and honest about this, they have the better team. So I feel like Kirby, put your big boy pants on.
Mm-hmm.
Get over your enamor, your whatever you feel, your man crush with your former boss,
Mm-hmm.
and put your foot on his neck and go out and play football. Georgia football.
Mm-hmm.
That's my passionate plea.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they're going to go in with that kind of attitude. And so I feel like we'll have a different result than we've seen in every other game they play Alabama up till now.
Steph, I have to tell you that there's nothing more that I want than for everything that you said to be correct. There is nothing more than I want. But I was looking at one of my favorite movies the other day.
Oh, gosh.
And if you guys get a chance to go check out Gladiator, I believe it's on Netflix. And the first scene of Gladiator, you see these barbarians, and they're coming out to face the Roman army. And one of the barbarians is holding a severed head. And
What?
I know he tosses in the dirt. And so the second in command to Maximus Decimus Meridius walks up to him and says, people should know when they're conquered. And I see Bryce Young. I see Bryce Young walking up to Nick Saban and saying the exact same thing. Because the reality is, what you said to Kirby Smart at the end of your passionate plea, that he needs to put his big boy pants on, I just don't think he can. Not against Nick Saban. And I think that seeing the SEC championship game allowed me to actually go ahead and swallow that pill. Nick Saban's disciples just can't beat him. And I do know that Jimbo Fisher did it.
I was about to say it just happened.
But it's very rare. And a game of this magnitude with these stakes, I just don't think it's going to happen. If there were ever a time for them to do it, it was the year that they won the SEC championship and that they played in the national championship in Atlanta. In Atlanta. This game will be in Indianapolis.
Yeah, maybe that's what they need.
That was their time to do it. They were clearly far and away the better team.
Yeah.
And they just could not get it done. And while I do agree with you that Georgia is the better team, Alabama's just better coached.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
Take that uppercut.
I hate that I have to say it.
Take that.
I want nothing other than for Nick Saban to eat crow and for his team to go down in defeat. I want nothing other than that. But I just do not see it happening. Shout out to my bro Dirk, because I think I picked last week's games with my heart. I said that Alabama was going to lose to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I knew better than that.
Yeah.
And I said that Michigan.
I did win those at least.
Yeah. I said that Michigan was going to beat Georgia, and they were clearly in a different class. And so right before the game came on, Dirk was texting me and my boy DC and my boy Twan, and he was just like, Georgia's, this game isn't even going to be close. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Michigan has the number one offense, the number one rushing attack and all of that. He's like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
And
that was, yeah.
He texted me throughout that entire game.
I'm
and
sure.
He called me. And I'm going to say publicly, I ignored you, brother. Because I was annoyed that we were losing so bad. So when you called.
Listen, if nothing else last week in those playoff games, it proved my point of what we talked about last week, which was those two teams represent, when I say SEC football is grown men versus everybody else, that was a display from the top two teams in the SEC of what that looks like. It wasn't even worth watching. I was like, this is awful. What is this?
Yeah.
But see, Jim Harbaugh should have kept his mouth shut. Again, Nick Saban, notice that Nick Saban doesn't talk trash.
Mm-mm.
He's always very political, very PC about everything.
Oh,
right?
Nick Saban, Bill Belichick.
So Jim Harbaugh making that statement about just play like Alabama and we'll beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they teed off on you like you were Alabama. That's another thing. Well, oh, okay. Play like Alabama. See what that gets you.
In fairness, I think that because if we're looking at coaches, and we can talk about Nick Saban being the great coach that he is.
Yeah.
The one thing that he wasn't able to do is be successful in the NFL.
No. Jim
Harbaugh has been able to be both. And so even if you say like Jim Harbaugh hasn't won the national championship, or, you know, I can see that. But if you look at Michigan before Jim Harbaugh got there, they were winning 6 and 7 games. Yeah. He's won no less than 10 games since he's been there. And as you can see, and it kind of speaks to your point, going back to the point that you made about SEC football. And to my point, more so the top part of SEC football being one Alabama, and then whoever else decides to step up that year, this year being Georgia.
Yeah.
They're just head shoulders above everybody, and you're not going to be able to recruit the way that they are. And so I like the way that Jim Harbaugh is as a coach. It's sour grapes whenever you do something like this and you don't win. But I think what he's seen, and I think that there's some rumblings of this up in Ann Arbor, is that he's probably just going to either need to go take one of those big time SEC jobs, kind of like what's his name from Notre Dame did?
LSU, yeah, Brian Kelly.
Yeah, Brian Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's gonna have to go back to the NFL. Okay. He's just not gonna get the type of kid that can beat
talent isn't
Alabama or Georgia.
The talent. No. He's just not gonna recruit the talent that he needs to.
Right. Because between Ohio State and Michigan, they're soaking up themselves are soaking up all of that Midwest talent.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
They aren't even able to go cherry pick from SEC country.
No.
You know, and I know I'm totally off topic here. I'm sorry. But that's kind of my thing for Jim Harbaugh. Because when I saw that too, I was like, ugh. Because I didn't see it until after you said it. I didn't see that pregame.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually the first time he's ever been interviewed pregame since he's been at Michigan.
He should have just kept whatever he was. Somebody
should have coached you on that.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not the way to do this. So, but y'all let us know who you think's really right. Is Georgia gonna win college football championship, or is Alabama going to win the college football championship? Go Dog.
Roll Tide.
Oh, I can't believe you let that come out your mouth.
I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I bet you did. Like real talk. Like, But y'all let us know who's really right.
Put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.